Hi, everybody. Pen here with Yoga Sizes. Welcome to the podcast and the YouTube channel.
I have Panhi here, and she is an occupational therapist and also a graduate from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which is where I received my certification.
Thank you, Kate, for having me today. I am Pan, and I've been an occupational therapist for about 6 years, working with children pre-K to 8th grade. And on the side, I teach yoga and meditation. And recently, like she said, I graduated with an IIN, and it's kind of all tying in together now that I'm doing remote learning with my students, and we're actually getting trained on more of the coaching aspect of working with our students. So it's quite interesting how my health coaching studies actually help me out with my job right now, is because of the changes that's going on with the whole remote learning.
So what got you into occupational therapy in the first place?
Well, to start, my mom was a physical therapist assistant. And at that time, I was like, oh, I want to be a physical therapist because she was a physical therapist assistant. But then my mom's like, oh no, don't do physical therapy because you extra weight on your back because of the what you have to do in a hospital setting. I tried nursing twice and it didn't work out for me. It just not as holistic as I wanted to be. I have to deal with medications and then poking people with needles, and it turned out that I was kind of more afraid of needles than I thought, even though my mom's an acupuncturist and I go to her all the time. I believe what she does, but that's not something that I would do. So I ended up choosing occupational therapy, thinking that that's more holistic than I was planning on going for. But then I found out that like yoga, meditation, and health coaching is even more holistic. So that's where I'm at now. I still do occupational therapy, but doing health coaching, I can reach more people.
So you found IIN. For the health coaching certification, how did you think that was going to kind of integrate into your yoga and your exercising and all of that immediately? Or was it kind of a slow transition for you?
It wasn't that much of a slow transition as at first. It was more like, for me, even though as much I know a lot about whole foods nutrition, healthy things that I should be doing, and I tell people about it, but because I feel like when I'm under stress, I don't do what I should be doing. So I feel like I needed more of that coaching at the same time, like is almost like helping me, and at the same time be able to expand my learning and be able to help people, not just with the physical part, but also with like the nutrition and the mindset, and being consistent, like establishing a routine and be able to balance life and work.
Consistency and clarity, that is what I try and help all of my clients with. Right. That's great how holistic you actually started creating not just your own life, but you have to have that build up that energy yourself before you can give it out to other people. So I think you found a great place. Well, I'm biased, but I think you found a great place to actually build that foundation for yourself. So we've talked a little bit about your job and what you do, but what's your why? What's your personal why?
My personal wise, mainly for my daughter, my family, and my husband, and just basically people that I love, that I feel like I want to be able to help them more in terms of their health and what I can impact them. And also for my daughter's future, I don't want to be working at a place where I retire and then not be able to enjoy life. I want to be able to, be able to make an impact, and at the same time still have the freedom to do what I want to do and be healthy enough to see my daughter grow up, and then see my, in the future I'll have more kids, and be able to see my grandkids and be healthy and help everyone else be healthy and have the freedom to do what they want.
Change the world. Love it. So who are your greatest influences, and where did that start to kind of guide you into where you are now?
That's a great question. I guess the influence came from just growing up with my grandparents. I grew up in China, and I grew up, taking herbs and just this, like I said, this whole everything natural and growing up. So it kind of that helped me to be where I'm at. And also my mom, she was in China, so she didn't have the freedom of what she really wanted to do at that time. So when she got here, although she was a physical therapist assistant, her main goal was still to be an acupuncturist. And eventually she ended up doing that. So what she's doing, she's so focused on achieving her goals, and that's she knew from very little she wanted to do that. And growing up with them kind of shaped how I'm thinking, and kind of got that from them. And also my husband, even though he's Caucasian, he actually knows more about like herbs and Chinese medicine and the more natural healing stuff than I do when I met him. So I learned a lot from him too. So I kind of just all work together.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah. So when you're with some of your clients, I know when I'm with clients, I ask them not simply to create goals, that but to actually envision their future in kind of this visceral, visual, tactile 3D movie and in their head, so that they're using every single sense of it, kind of as if they're on camera walking through their own movie. Do you have any techniques that you tend to use with clients that you gained from kind of your holistic side?
Mm, meditation,
Okay.
uh, more like being more mindful in terms of focusing on what they're doing and not do like many things at the same time, doing things that are like balanced and using as much natural things as possible, not depend on like anything processed. Sometimes it's difficult, like depends on the situation and convenience and other people's influence too, because when you live with a lot of people, and you have to kind of just try to do your best to work everything out. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's influence from everywhere. Um, so do you help them create just daily habits that are really good to go to? I know I have my morning ritual that I've told people about before, and even an evening ritual, and they're simple things. Just as easy as brushing your teeth, right? It's just putting them in a certain order of events that helps me mentally get into the state where I want to be and have the energy to do what I want to do.
yeah, I try to work on having that structure, be able to just maintain do long term, and be able to just grow from there and do better, like one step at a time. So I actually is not officially launched yet. I'm in the process of creating it. The program called Power 10 Daily. Power and the number 10 dailies, basically 10 minutes minimum of like physical activity or meditation or like mental exercise or something a day to just be consistent. It's because, being a mom and working full time and my husband working overnight, just like from my experience, it can be hard for people to just get 10 minutes of exercise in a day. And a lot of people don't even do any exercise a day, any day, like at all.
Yeah,
So I just thought of this idea and basically just say, at least 10 minutes of something just to start. And don't think, oh my gosh, I don't have that 1 hour to exercise, or I don't have that 90 minutes to go for a hot yoga class or something. But don't think that much. Just start with small steps.
yeah. You don't. Yes, sometimes it's nice to have that hour, but it's not a necessarily daily thing. I completely agree. Yeah, small steps, build them up. So we've also talked about work and you could call it play if you love it, like I do. What do you do in your downtime?
I feel like I almost don't have any downtime. And my husband's like, "You're a workaholic." And I'm like, "Okay, I have to admit, I'm a little bit of a workaholic." It's like I'm always working, working, working. And he's trying so hard for me to just take a day off and just for myself and just have fun. But when I do have the time off and take the time, I like to crochet, like to go hiking, try to go for walks even now as much as I can, and so much, everybody's like, oh, with physical distancing. I call it physical distancing, not as much as social distancing, because I feel like we're still, communicating through Zoom, social
Even more
media.
social.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm talking to my students' parents more than I've ever talked to them. So I feel like I'm still having that social connection, and just not the physical connection. And so just still trying to go out there, and I actually see more people walking outside more than ever instead of driving to places.
Oh yes. Yes. It's amazing how much even they have greenways all over a couple places that I've lived. And where I am now, there's people biking and walking and some of them are wearing masks and such, but they're even more physical, I think, and outside more, so they're getting that vitamin D and that clearer air, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's great.
It is, especially vitamin D. The sunlight, sunshine can actually kill viruses and stuff like that. But I've actually heard from sources on the media, and they said, "Don't go out. The sun's bad for you for this virus." I'm like, that's so not true, because vitamin D can really help and boost the immune system.
DNC, I mean, yeah. So you mentioned meditation. What other energy building practices do you use daily? You also mentioned a little bit of physicality and movement.
I personally do now mainly transcendental meditation. So mainly meditation and yoga.
So you get the movement, the breath, in the sense that it's actually moving your body, but also clearing out your mind,
Yeah.
like oxygenation. And what have you noticed has changed on the mental side of things? With
Um, More definitely clear mind and better focus, and less like nicer, my husband says. She's like nicer now, because
a
with
little
this it really helps. Yeah. And because of this whole quarantine thing, I actually just, I'm excited because my husband went to my in-laws, and he's picking up the my new instrument that I bought from Amazon. It's been delivered today. I got this because I was looking for an instrument. They're like $100, $200. My husband's like, no, you're not going to spend that much money on an instrument. And he ended up suggesting kalimba. It's like a thumb instrument that you just press. But
Yeah.
and then I'm like, I feel like I'm on the phone still because I'm like trying to suppress with my thumbs. But I ended up getting that, and it was pretty affordable price, like $40. So I just ended up getting that. So I'm getting that today. So I'm kind of excited to play that because I used to play the piano, and I haven't done that in years. And yeah.
Are you very musically oriented still? Is that something that you have on all in the
Never
background?
was. Surprised how I played for 6 years. I was never. I can't.
No.
But yeah. I figured why not.
Okay. Hey, this is now more than ever. Is it a perfect time to reach for a dream and actually act upon it, or find something completely new? New
Yeah.
hobby, new instrument, new practice, new anything. Thought patterns. Great.
So I figured out if I do a live yoga class or something online, or meditation class, I can actually play my instrument during a live class, or play some music for my students to listen to calm them down. So
Uh-huh. There you go. We talked a little bit about energy and the physical side of things. What role does food play for you? Since we are
it's very important.
nutrition.
Yeah, 'cause when I'm eating like a lot of carbs and a lot of sweet stuff, then I can definitely notice the difference. I'm more like sluggish, upsets my stomach, and versus if I eat more greens, more fresh, holistic, more natural foods, not processed food, then have more energy, and I even like just feel overall just lighter, and yeah, definitely helps.
Nice. And is this something that you've created as a consistent practice in the household?
As much as I can, but to be honest, I kind of not as much since this whole quarantine started and working from home.
Uh, what have you found is possible for you food wise with all of the difficulties finding food items that you're used to going to that you just can't find on the shelves, or are there practices that you've come up with that are helping you even right now to still nourish yourself really really well with those whole foods and with those ingredients that are going to serve you well?
Um, much difference, I don't think. No.
Okay.
Yeah, still pretty much the same. I still take my supplements. They're more like, whole foods concentrate products, and like my shakes, and just although I do have like an aeroponic garden tower thing that I use, but my partner is so small, so I'm like trying to use it at my in-laws where they have a house there, but we haven't started growing our plants in the tower yet.
That's really cool. I saw some of those recently before we ended up everybody home. Um,
Mm,
they're really fun. If anybody is curious about planting, I have
yeah, yeah.
I have a garden in the back, so I have massive amounts of herbs that I need to actually harvest and do something with.
Oh, okay. They're really fun to do. I don't have a green thumb and I cannot grow anything in soil. We have some stuff on the window, but I can't keep anything alive, so I'm just like really bad. I'm surprised my avocado actually has roots now, so that's good.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Do you have any plants around that actually have fruit or any vegetables?
not yet. They're starting. My husband has been putting like onions or garlic in the dirt, so
Uh,
that's what he's been doing.
I'm
Yeah,
just hoping that they'll grow.
yeah, they're actually growing, so that's good.
That's
And he
great.
just told me he cut the carrot, and he just told me to put the carrot in the soil, and he's like, "You don't know how to grow anything. You're gonna put everything upside down, and you're gonna basically put the leaf part in the soil, not the other." Because I have no knowledge in terms of anything.
We all have our own strengths. That's okay. Just let him do the planting.
Do the planting, yeah. But with my aeroponic garden, I can pretty much grow anything in there. That's why I love that thing. It's like no brainer. There's a timer. You set it up. You don't have to ever like pretty much touch it, except that of course, regularly you have to cut the roots, but that's it.
Yeah, that's easy. We can
Yeah.
always use scissors.
And he does the root cutting too. So
Train him well.